already a part of the family, thank you so much for sticking in there with me. So keep watching with me, keep hanging in there with me. I'm so excited to see us grow. For today's video, I am going to be introducing my series. So for the rest of this week, you guys are going to get an upload from me. Yay! And it's going to be all on my series, which I'm calling the Beginner Makeup Series. So this is the introduction and also part 1 of that series. So guys, throughout my life, I have always had ladies, men come up to me and ask me, how do you do your makeup? What makeup do you have on? What foundation are you wearing? And I've always had people have an interest in getting into makeup and learning how to apply makeup. Not necessarily to become a makeup artist, but to just know how to do their makeup for themselves. Sometimes people aren't a makeup person at all, but they do want to know how to put it on for special nights, date nights, weddings, church, things like that. So they always inquire. I've always had people inquire with me about makeup, applying makeup, how do you apply makeup, matching your shades, all types of stuff. Anything about makeup, I've got asked it. So I decided to go ahead and do this series. It's going to be very beginner friendly, but I think some of us that have been wearing makeup for a long time, so OG makeup wearers out there, you can benefit from this too, because it's always nice to go back to the basics sometimes, you know what I mean? And especially if there's a few months where you're working on a budget and you don't want to necessarily have to go buy a $40 foundation or a $50 eyeshadow palette. Or a $50 eyeshadow palette, you know that you definitely have some more affordable options out there on the market. So it's always good to go back to the basics, okay? For today's video in particular, like I said, I'm doing the intro. So hey guys, this is my beginner friendly beginner makeup series. Woo! I really, my hope is that you learn something and be able to apply it. And again, if you have any questions, if I didn't explain something good enough for you, please comment down below. Don't be shy. I will definitely answer it the best that I can, or my subscribers will come and help you out, girl, okay? So I think an interest in makeup climbed up in the past 2 years. Makeup used to be that thing that was kind of taboo. Only adults wore it. You know, if you wore it in high school, you might have been picked on like me. I just always have been that beauty girl. So me coming to class in high school with eyeshadow on and eyelashes and stuff like that was just abnormal to my classmates. So sometimes I got picked on for it, you know, because I was out there, honey. I would wear the glitter lime green eyeshadow. I didn't care because that was just me. It's just naturally me, okay? But I think as I started to as I continued my education onto college, I noticed a few girls having a little bit of interest in it. But again, me, I was just that bold girl. I didn't care. I would wear bright blues, eyeshadow, whatever. And then definitely once it was time for graduation from college, a lot more people gained an interest in makeup. So I would definitely say the past 7 years, 7 to 8 years, the interest for makeup for the normal girl has grown tremendously. I say that to get to my first point. Skin. Let's talk skin. Now, I feel like anybody that is an OG of makeup and has worn makeup for a very long time should first let people know that the key to a flawless makeup look is your skin. You have to take care of your skin. It is imperative. No matter if you use $100 foundation, $200 setting powder, whatever, if your skin underneath is not being treated correctly, that foundation is not going to lay properly. So it is imperative that you take care of your skin. So based off of skin, let's just start with skin types. So I think this is important because even when taking care of your skin and maintenance in your skin, you need to know your skin type, because that's going to determine what products you use to maintenance and care for your skin. So when I say skin types, I am meaning either have oily skin, you either have dry skin, or you either have combination skin. Now, I am no skin expert. Let me just put that disclaimer out there. And I know in between all three of these, there are probably other categories, but I'm just gonna stick to what I know because I don't want to be telling you guys something and I don't know what I'm talking about. This is what I know: oily, dry, combination, okay? So obviously these three should be self-explanatory, but if they're not, I'll try to explain them the best way that I can. So a girl who has oily skin produces oil heavier than the average person. So you might go for a run and you just constantly sweat. Your face is constantly producing oils. So you definitely want to make sure you're using products that are able to control the oils in your face. So not necessarily stop the oils from producing, but manage them and maintain them. Now, for someone with dry skin, obviously it's someone who is on the drier side than normal. They may have dry patches on their face if they don't moisturize their face enough. If they use a product that is for controlling, if they use a product that's for mattifying or / controlling the oils in your face, their face will literally feel cracked and dried out. So those are my dry face girls. And for people with combination skin, they have a balance or a combination of both oily and dry skin. So I know particular for me, myself, I am a combination skin girl. In certain areas of my face, I'm oilier, and other areas I'm drier. And this is determined by seasons as well. So right now we are in the summertime. So most of the time I'm just going to be oily right here in the middle of my face. But once it gets winter time, I'm pretty much fine. Now, if it starts getting extremely cool outside, then I will suffer from dryness under my eyes, sometimes here on my cheeks. So that's what you would determine being a combination type of skin. And you will want to aim your skin routine or your skincare products towards being a combination skin. So yesterday I uploaded my skincare routine. I'm going to insert the link to it here. I would definitely suggest you watch it, especially if you do not have your own skin routine. This is so important and imperative to the healthiness of your skin. You need to develop a skincare routine. Guys, this routine is always going to change because your skin is always going to change. Certain areas that you may be targeting may have improved completely, so you might not need a certain product, or you might see your skin changing and you need another product. So make sure you develop a skincare regimen. Make sure you develop one that is targeting the areas that you need to fix based on your skin type. You do not want to be using products that aren't helping you. For example, if you have dry skin, you don't want to use a cleanser for your face that's going to dry you out completely. You want to use a moisturizing cleanser. You want to use certain hyaluronic acid serums, stuff like that. And again, I won't go into too much detail because I am not an expert. And honestly, I just nailed down my regimen. I just found products that worked for me and I just nailed it down. And I'm sure later down the line, I'm going to be switching it up again. So just focus and study and research Try to figure out your skin as best as you can. You can find videos with people that has similar skin to yours. That doesn't mean everything they use is going to work for you, but at least you have some type of pathway to start your skincare regimen, if that makes sense. So with developing a skincare regimen, you must stay consistent. You must stay dedicated to it. I know there has been times where I did not wash my makeup off at night and woke up and my face felt gross, and then I had the nerve to try to wash it, mask it, and put makeup on top of it for the next day. That feels weird, like for real. I'm not even kidding. Even if I do wash and mask, it just feels weird. My face feels clogged up. So you want to make sure that you're staying consistent, being dedicated to your skincare routine, because you want to get flawless makeup application every single time. That's the goal, guys. That's the goal, especially your complexion. I mean, it's okay if your eyeshadow is a little bit wonky for the day, maybe even sometimes your eyebrows, because your eyebrows don't have to be twins, they can just be sisters. But your complexion, baby, that is what makes a difference. Big time. It makes a huge difference. So make sure you stay consistent. So I say all of that to say the secret to flawless makeup application is not the product. It is not the skill. In my opinion, it is not the skill. It is literally the healthiness of your skin and the care of your skin. So as long as you're taking care of your skin, and then find the right products, and then get down the skill of applying those products, your makeup application will be flawless. So one more point I have to make about skin is knowing those areas that you want to work on and making sure the products that you use in not only your skincare regimen, but also the makeup products that you use align with the areas you want to fix. For example, I went years and years and years without using SPF. Oh, child, I know. I always heard the myth that brown skin girls did not need SPF. We don't need it. The sun doesn't affect us, whatever. And that's just not true. It is absolutely not true. So with my neglect of using SPF, I developed dark spots on my face. And you will see all of this in my skincare routine video. Link is here. Make sure you check it out. So now that I know better that SPF is a must, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love those products, those foundations, setting sprays, serums that have SPF infused. So it just gives me an extra booster. Now, I make sure that I apply SPF every day. I don't play about that. But I know that if I get a setting spray with SPF infused in it, that's just giving me an extra booster, especially if I know I'm going to be out in the sun for a long period of time that day. So guys, that's just a great tip to know what you need to work on. For example, if you have extremely dry skin, you get dry patches, there's plenty of serums and primers that are infused with hyaluronic acid. Just check out the products and see what's trending and what's new out there, because I think a lot of these makeup companies are recognizing and acknowledging how important skincare is along with makeup, and I think that is really, really awesome. So again, make sure you research and pay attention to what's going on in the skincare world as well as the makeup world. So now that we've got our skincare regimen down packed, we know what to do with our skincare, and we're working towards getting our skin flawless. We can go ahead and start moving on to the makeup routine part of makeup. So starting off, primers. Now, I used to use primers a lot, and once I realized how primers made my makeup finish look, I stopped using them because I prefer a more matte face, and I came to find that most primers that I was picking up was causing my face to be oily, and that included those primers that were supposed to mattify my face. Like, my skin just does something with primers. I don't know if it's the formula. I'm not sure what it is that's in them, but for me particularly, primers wasn't doing it. Now, primers main job is to be a barrier between your skin and your makeup. That's its main job. I know there's a million primers out there. They blur your pores, they do all these other different things, but just to stay on the basics, a primer is going to be that barrier between your skin and your makeup. So let's start again. Back to our skin type. We are always going to start back at our skin type when determining certain makeup products. So boom, if you have oily skin, you want to control those oils, right? So you're going to aim for a primer that is mattifying. Now, just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. Let's start there. So you want to aim for primers that are mattifying, primers that maybe even be oilless, or what might work for you is what I do. I use a setting powder, a loose setting powder for my primer, which will mattify my face as well. So it's really up to you what you use, but make sure that your primer has some type of mattifying property in it if you have oily skin. Now, for dry skin girls, obviously it's going to be the exact opposite. You are going to want to look for primers that are hydrating, that bring some oil out in your face. You might even use a moisturizer or a serum for your primer. It doesn't have to necessarily say primer on it for you to use it. I mean, just because the bottle says primer, that's a marketing tool. Let me just say that first of all, because you can use hyaluronic acid as a serum for your primer. I mean, you can use all types of things, guys. So don't feel like you have to stick to a bottle that says primer on it, okay? If it gives you hydration and it is a consistency that you prefer directly under your makeup, go for it. Again, if you're dry, make sure that it is something that has hydration. If you're oily, make sure that it is something matte. If you're combination, you can try best because you kind of have the best of both worlds. So you can figure out what you want to do and see what works best for your skin, because like I said, I'm oily in my T-zone and dry out here on my cheeks and under my eyes, but you can be the total opposite of me. So again, make sure you figure out, do some research and see what works best for you. So the number one topic in question I get about makeup is foundation. I cannot stress this enough. People ask me about foundation all the time. I'm scared of foundation. I don't know how to find my shade. I don't know what foundation to get because there's just so many. I get it. I get overwhelmed with foundation too. So I totally understand it. So here are my tips I have for picking out a foundation. Number one, again, go back to your skin type, okay? So my girls that are dry, you're looking for a foundation that is going to provide some hydration back in your skin. For my oily girls, you're going to be looking for a matte foundation, okay? Or something that controls your oils, Most foundations are categorized that way, but there are some foundations that are just general foundations. And I mean, you can try those out. You definitely can try those out. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on the consistency. And I would definitely watch some reviews on it before you go and buy it. So, finding your shade. It is easier than what you're thinking. I know it's overwhelming. I know some of these companies have 50 shades. Take a deep breath. I know it's going to be fine. So the best thing about starting with drugstore, which is what we're going to be doing in this series. So all of the makeup products that I'm going to be using in this series is going to be affordable drugstore products. Okay, so have no fears. So the best thing about that is these drugstore foundations, well, these drugstore companies have been around for decades. So they have been around for a very, very long time. So when it comes to creating shades, even though they're slower on the brown girl side, the ones that have been progressive and do have a wide range of selections for shades for us brown girls, it is going to be really easy for you once you do figure out your shade in your drugstore foundation to match your shade with higher end foundations. I hope that makes sense. So for example, if you click in my description box, I am going to have a list of all my foundation shades in there, and it's going to be drugstore, it's going to be higher end. They're all going to be listed down there. Now, I'm saying that to say, once I found out my shade, my perfect match in a particular drugstore foundation, I was able to take that foundation, go to Google, search online, and say, if I'm a 350 and Maybelline's Color Stay, what color am I in Fenty Beauty? And boom, it's going to generate you your shade. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be 100% correct. Let's be mindful that these companies do use different formulas, okay? And the formula for a matte foundation is going to be different for a hydrating foundation. And I say that especially for my combo girls, because sometimes we mix matte and hydrating foundations together to, just for the formula, or it could be for the shade too, but most of the time we mix them for the formula. So just be mindful of that and try it before you be like, okay, boom, I got my little $6 foundation. I know I'm a $350 in this, so I'm just going to go over here to Fenty and drop $30 on shade 420. But wait, when you take it home after you done paid $30 for it, it's not your shade. You can take it back, but still, I don't want you guys to go through that. I want you to make sure once you do match that drugstore foundation shade, watch a few videos, watch a few reviews, and see if that 420 Fenty shade is really going to match up to you. And let me just be honest, these are pretty accurate. Like, I have done this plenty of times to find my correct foundation shade. I have also utilized other YouTubers, just looking in their description box, which is the reason I'm like, I'm definitely going to put my foundation shades in the description box for you guys to always go back and reference. But I have basically just said, she's this color and this, we look similar in color, let me just get it, and it has matched. And then I go back to it and reference it. Okay, now I got this and this drugstore foundation, and I'm gonna go over and get a little bit of higher end. Oh, this says that I should match this shade and this, so it's a process, but I'm telling you, it is really, really accurate most of the time. most of the time it does work. Now, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but you can't also always go to Sephora, Ulta, and ask for any of the workers' opinions. I would definitely trust Sephora more than Ulta and just say, hey, what shade do you think I would be? And again, you can always take your foundations back to the store if they don't match or if you don't like the way they feel. Any reason you want to take it back, you can definitely take it back. So be mindful of that. And that's really what I have with shade matching. Once you know your shade in one foundation, it will trickle off into others. I do also want to make it clear that some of us do have summer foundations and winter foundations. So most of the time, if you spend a lot of time out in the sun, you're gonna get darker, right? So you probably have one or two summer foundations in your stash. Honestly, I don't. I do have a foundation that's a little bit darker than me, but I don't even really use it, guys. Like, I feel I'm always fine. I don't know. I don't think I get so dark or so tan to the point where I need to buy a whole new foundation. But anyway, don't worry about that right now. Okay, don't worry about that right now. I just want to let you guys know that that is a thing and that is possible. So concealers, yay! So concealers are really fun, especially when you start getting into contouring and things like that. So concealers are also used to color correct if you're into that. I am not going to be color correcting in this beginner series, but if you guys want me to do a separate series that's a little like an intermediate series, I definitely will. But for just this beginner series, we're going to be using concealer for contouring and highlighting our face. So the number one thing about concealers is you want to make sure that the concealer you choose is between 2 to 4 shades lighter than your foundation. This is just to ensure that you do get the pop, at least a little bit of pop that you're looking for. You don't want to get a concealer that is the exact shade of your foundation, because that is not going to even be doing anything. So you want to make sure you definitely stay in between 2 to 4 shades lighter. 2 would being just a settled look, and 4 would be I'm going to prom, I'm getting married, or I just want to be really, really beat for that day, okay? So again, make sure you're using the right formula. Back to Skin. They do have hydrating concealers and they do have mattifying concealers. Usually in the summer, I opt for a hydrating concealer, and in the winter time I just opt for a matte concealer. I feel like in the summer, you know, you want that nice glow, you want that dewiness, but in the winter time you're chilling, you don't want too much dewy, you want that matte face. So that is the reason why I pick those. You guys are going to see in tomorrow's video what concealer I recommend for you to use. So with that being said, let's get into the specs of makeup. So you've applied your primer, you applied your foundation, you applied your concealer. What's next? So one of the biggest things you need to know when applying your makeup is that anytime you apply cream, you absolutely have to add powder on top of it, or it will indefinitely, it's going to crease, and you don't want a whole bunch of creases all up in your face, right? So you want to make sure that you're using powders to set your face. Again, I'm going to be demoing all of this and going step by step with all of this, but I just want to get the idea in your head so you know once I do start demoing it, you kind of know the direction we're going. So anytime you add cream, you add a powder to make sure it does not crease. This is imperative to getting that smooth, flawless face, okay? Again, you don't want creases all up in your face. That's not cute. So a lot of you may heard of baking. So baking or loose setting powder is what you're going to use to set the areas that you conceal on your face. Again, guys, don't worry, I'm going to be demoing this. I'm not just going to talk, okay? Tomorrow I will start demoing what I'm talking about today. But anyway, make sure, so you're going to use loose setting powder to set in place your concealer because you don't want it to move around or crease. You want it to be nice and smooth, right? To set your entire face, you're going to be using a face powder. And what the face powder does is, one, set your face, and two, it's going to blend everything together so everything is nice and seamless. You don't want harsh lines on your face. You want things to look nice together and in order. You want it to appear to look like it's supposed to be that way, as opposed to, you know, just harsh lines and things like that drawn on your face. So again, we're using loose setting powder to set our concealer, and then we're going to use face powder to set and blend our face together, and then we're going to go in with bronzer to finish out our contouring. Now remember, contouring is highlighting and deepening up your face to sculpt it, okay? And again, that will all make sense. If it doesn't make sense now, in the next few videos. So guys, I really hope all of that made sense for you. Again, I'm going to have a video every day this week. So tomorrow's video, I'm going to start demoing a lot of what I talked about today. So you'll get to see me do it right here on my channel. It's not going to be live. It is going to be pre-recorded, but you're going to get to see it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. And girl, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe so you can get these gems so your face can be popping, okay? Period. So I thank you guys for sitting and listening and learning with me. And I will see you guys tomorrow for part 2 of my beginner makeup series. I'll see you there. Bye.